Euthanasia is a practice in which a patient's life is ended in order to prevent further pain or suffering. Normally, this occurs in terminally ill patients.
People who are elderly, disabled, in pain, or have a terminal disease who want to die typically feel that they are a burden on others, that life has lost its meaning, or that all hope is gone. In short, they are often depressed.
The etymology of the word euthanasia comes from the Greek words eu, which means good, and thanatos, which means death. So, euthanasia means good death. In the modern age society, there is a problem about accepting this practice. The first country in the world that legalized euthanasia was Netherlands in 2002. Since then, there are only 6 countries in the world in which euthanasia is legal. These countries are Netherlands, Spain, Luxembourg, Belgium, Colombia, and Canada. This topic is deeply related to citizenship due to the fact that there is personal autonomy and ethics of each individual that chooses to use euthanasia. Freedom and rights are the pillars of society. Therefore, people must have the right to have a decent living and choose when to have a decent death.
Que nous allons tous mourir et j'ai le droit, moi, d'exiger une qualité pour ma fin de vie.
Euthanasia should be of the concern of everyone, because even though most of the society won't even need to consider to use it, there are thousands of people a year that are asking to use euthanasia on them so they can properly end their life. These people must be able to decide when they have suffered enough and to let go of life. It is important to think about this topic because everyone or everyone's family can be in this situation in which they are patients that are only suffering and are no longer enjoying life.
Nous devons accepter qu'on ne peut pas tout guérir et notre rôle quand on ne peut pas tout guérir est d'essayer de soulager le patient, d'apaiser ses souffrances. Je continue à remplir mon métier de médecin en allant jusqu'au bout du bout.
Euthanasia should be legal in the majority of countries in the world. It should be, since there is no immoral act in doing something in free will.
In the European Journal of Philosophy, which is a study of a small part of the groundwork, a famous book of metaphysics of morals written by Kant says that Immanuel Kant says that a free will and a will under moral laws are one and the same. With this knowledge, it is to assume that ethics are categorized for an unconditional commitment with human freedom. Therefore, by doing or choosing something for the pure reason of human freedom, there must not be something morally wrong with it. For example, when a person has the autonomy of deciding when they have felt enough pain in their life.
I read what happens in the end of my disease. The only thing you'll be able to move in the end are your eyeballs. I don't want to go through that horror, and I certainly don't want to put my kids through that.
On the other side of the coin, there are philosophers that see this topic as completely different. A clear example of a philosophical thought is set in Violence in Capitalism, written by James A. Tyner. In this book, it highlights that in Christian theology there are people against euthanasia, such as Saint Augustine. According to the Christian Church, euthanasia and suicide are the same thing and that both are not morally right.
For the Catholic Church, life is a great gift, a gift from the God who is life. So the bottom line for Christians, for the Church, is kill the pain, not the patient.
Saint Augustine said that it was a contradiction to the commandments that God has given humanity and that a life with suffering was one that was ordained by God. In addition, Saint Augustine also said that by taking their own life was something only God must do, since he is the only one with that right.
Euthanasia must be legal in Mexico because the medical institutions in the country don't have the capacity of having enough patients. The national average for stretchers per 1,000 people is 1.5, which is below the region average, that is 2.2 stretchers. Therefore, those places in the hospitals should be used for patients that want to live. There is people that need a place in a hospital, but the patients that need euthanasia occupy those stretchers.
The legalization of euthanasia will have no negative consequences on anyone directly. Some people from the church could get offended by this because of their strong beliefs that only God can give and take our lives. Mexico, as a laic country, should not have laws that are influenced by churches' beliefs. The government should let the patients, that are the ones that are suffering, have the right to decide when they have suffered enough. The practice of euthanasia will only apply if there is a medical background that says that the patient will continue to suffer until death. In conclusion, euthanasia should be legal since there are no people that are directly affected in a negative way. Euthanasia is a topic that is difficult to dialogue since this practice is so closely related to death. The practice of euthanasia must be correct since it is done by pure free will from people that are suffering tremendously.
Besides, its legalization would bring positive effects in Mexico, such as a small increase in the availability of stretchers. In order to have a society that has rights and the freedom to decide how and when to end their life, is needed to support a moral society.